Welcome back guys to another GTA video, and coming up in today's action packed one we have the new Baller STD to go over and have a look at. Your chance to win that £30 PlayStation gift card and a couple more laps with the subscriber in a reasonably priced car. But jumping straight into it then with the new vehicle this week, which is the Galavanter Baller STD, which you can buy from Legendary Motorsports for a mere 1.715 million GTA dollars. Its bio states that if you've got the itch for a supercharged SUV with serious go power, then you might have a case of the Galavanter Baller STD, and you wouldn't be the first. It's spreading fast, and with the remote control unit and missile lock-on jammer available to install, keeping your hands off it is going to be hard. The STD, everybody's getting it. And now that we've picked up our very own STD, let's jump in and get it into Hal's workshop for some upgrading. So as usual we shall be maxing out all the performance upgrades, but taking our time with the cosmetic ones. So let's jump straight in and get into the liveries and make a start from there. Looking through the liveries, there are 12 to choose from, although I wouldn't say they are the greatest of liveries to choose between. But we do in fact go for this and country one. And onto the colour now. I think I've had enough of these chameleon paints, so I'll keep this black on and head over to the pearlescent. And the bright purple's not too bad, but I think we're just going to stick with the good old favourite, the midnight purple. As for the secondary colour, I did actually go back and forth on this one, wasn't sure about the white at all, but ended up going with the midnight purple for the secondary colour as well. In terms of bodywork changes, there weren't actually that many options in each of the areas that you could choose from, so other than the paint and the livery, you've not got that much of a choice to personalise it for your own liking. Now the Galavanter Baller STD itself is a 4-door luxury SUV, and that was released on Thursday the 15th as part of the Chop Shop DLC. And it does look like it is loosely based on the 5th generation Land Rover Range Rover, with a few influences from the 4th and 3rd generation. I am not a fan of the panoramic roof, and unfortunately you cannot change that back to a solid roof, so I just need to stick with the panoramic on this one. But getting on with the customisations, you can see I've went for a small wing. And getting onto the wheels, I am going to stick with my usual high-end chrome, and I think it is the diamond ones, these ones here, that I go for. Just having a quick look through the rest of them, I think the diamonds suit it the best, and we'll go with that. But once the bulletproof tyres are on, that is it completed. You can let me know in the comments what you think about the customisations. And in a change to my usual video format, I am not going to take it round the test track straight away. Instead we'll jump outside and take it for a test drive before our wild racing driver takes it around for a hot lap. And speaking about hot laps, here is our next contender ready with his Elegy. This is Grexy. A little early, but we'll get started soon, mate. Let me have a wee look round about the Elegy before we head out in the test drive. That's looking pretty cool. I do like it in the ice white, but I do need to take this STD for a small test drive. So with this STD being a sports utility vehicle, I thought I'd take it for a spin off-road, and straight away we have problem number 1. And there it is, one small bump in the grass and it is gone. But heading back off-road again a little further up the road, and we can see that it handles the jumps reasonably well. It's the landing that's a little bit dodgy, so car control when you're in the air is a must when taking the jumps. And once again it's gone, but as you saw there, the bush physics are also affecting the SUV. But putting its off-road abilities through its paces, I'm now taking it up the middle route up Mount Chiliad, and anyone who watches Bruffy's G-Threads will know the route. Not sure I got the exact route at the start, but it's close enough, and we can see that it handles the hill climb with relative ease. Just need to avoid those bushes or we could end up back where we started. and I'm not really noticing any off-road traction loss either. It's handling this climb remarkably well. Up here at the summit of Chiliad, we can now take a look inside at the interior trim, and unfortunately, as you've seen through the upgrade, we cannot change the trim detail. But looking in the boot, there is ample room for a couple of bodies or a couple of Ks of product. The interior looks decent, and it does look like the new SUV white, which is the same one used in the Granger, the Vivinite and also the Illusion. But getting it back to where you'd normally find this SUV, which is in and around the wealthy areas of Rockford Hills, and you can see that it fits in really well in its surrounding down here rather than the off-road areas of the map. However, if you do punch that throttle pedal a little too hard, all it takes is a lamppost in the wrong place and it is gone. Overall, it is a decent looking vehicle, not the best choice of liveries to choose from, and being honest, it does handle a little bit like a boat teetering on the edge of capsizing. But let's hand it over to our wild racing driver to see how fast he gets it around the test track. Now, some say when he's running his hamster wheel he can generate enough electricity to power the whole of London. It is of course our very own hamster Stig. And I have to admit, it doesn't look happy at all, but regardless, get on in there and set us a lap time please. Never mind your moaning and complaining, just do it. And so jumping in and join the hamster Stig just before he starts his hot lap, and away we go. And the car itself does have a decent acceleration and a reasonable top speed, however its letdowns is its handling. That back end, like I was saying in the test drive itself, is just teetering on the edge of giving way, and you can see the hamster Stig's fighting this all the way around these 180s. Coming into the Roughwood complex, he does take the traditional route and out wide for the final of these 180s, and the back end sliding a little bit there. Moving into the hamster wheel complex of the fast 3 left-handers, and it does seem to negotiate these really well. It does teeter on the edge, like I was saying, of just that back end coming away and getting into the S-bend up to the penultimate corner. Little bit wide on that one, the back end sliding out, and he does in fact make it across the line in a time of 57.35 seconds. So as you can see, not the easiest vehicle to handle, but hopefully driving around the track has improved his mood a little. Or then again, maybe not. I've got a funny feeling that I'm going to pay for making him drive that. He doesn't look happy with me or the SUV at all. But moving on to your chance to win that £30 PlayStation gift card in the currency of your country. So to begin with a chance of winning it, all you need to do is be at the top of the leaderboard at the end of February. And as you can see, it is still currently Neutrino in the lead with a time of 54.47 seconds. And just to go over the rules once again, you do need to take the test lap in an Elegy RH8. It does need to be customised at LS Customs, not Benny's, and you can complete 10 laps with your fastest lap counting towards the lap times. You will also need to screen share your 10 laps so as I can record the laps and verify the lap time. But here we are getting into it with Grexy, who you met earlier, and his white Elegy RH8. Now, Grexy himself is an avid car fan, although self-admittedly not much of a racer and not spent much time inside the test lap, although he does have a personal best there of 52.42, which I don't think he'll be beating today in this Elegy, but away we go. And here we go into the first couple of corners, not too bad there, a little bit wide on the third one, but nice and wide entry, and misses that apex on the first 180. Out onto the long straight, he's not taking the outside line making the entry, but he does get that apex and a little bit tight there. Coming into the Roughwood complex, he does take the traditional route, hitting the checkpoint, and once again staying just within the white lines there and not taking the wide entry. But here we go, coming into the hamster complex of the fast 3 left-handers. which he negotiates fairly well. A little tap on the brake there before the final one and heading down the straight into the start of the S-bend. A little bit wide on that one and again on the middle bend, but just misses that pillar. Coming into the penultimate corner and he is a little bit wide on that, so it will be a slow exit and up to the line to give him a time of 57.97 seconds. And next up is our second contender of this week, and we have a Brazilian looking Nodix, or is it Swedish? Anyway, Nodix Elegy did have some special wheels on it that were not LS custom wheels, so he went out and purchased a new one and upgraded it with me, going for this rather nice looking black with lime green pearlescent colour. And as soon as that was done, he popped on his screen share so I could record his lap, and away he went. Now I should say the type of wheels that he did have on his own personal Elegy, although they weren't LS customs, we did in fact test it prior to starting all this, and there wasn't much of a difference at all between those wheels and the LS customs wheels. But in the appearance of fairness, that, like we said earlier, that was one of the rules. It does need to be an LS customs upgrade, so he quite fairly went and purchased a new one, which just goes and highlights how reasonably priced the Elegy actually is. But jumping into his lap, and he's done a decent job with the first few corners, making this left-hander into the back straight. Again, same as Crexy, staying within the white lines there, but tight on the exit of that first one, making him slow for the second one coming into the Roughwood complex. And once again he does take the more traditional route, hitting the checkpoint nice and tight for the final 180 there before coming into the hamster complex of these fast three left-handers, and he seems to be negotiating them really well. A little bit tight on the exit there, coming into the final S-bend here, and he's clipping those checkpoints really well. Penultimate corner takes that Rapex really well, giving him a good exit and up to the line with a time of 55.52. As you can see, he has now beaten his personal best.
I stop.
You can stop.
55.52 ain't horrible.
And I think Nodix was fairly happy with that. But taking a look at this week's leaderboard, we can see Nodix has displaced Joe for 4th, and Grexy is bringing up the rear with his 57.97. So still at the top is Neutrino with his 54.47. So once again, if you do want to take up the challenge, just hit me up on PlayStation. My username is FlyingScott35, or leave a comment down below. But there you have it from me for today, guys. If you did enjoy today's video, do leave a like, and if you are new here, why not consider subscribing. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Oh no, I knew he didn't like those cars. Oh well, catch yous next week.